Hey, everybody, it's Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And this is another edition of Pots and Shots with TelCloud. And we have with us today Jake Jacoby of TelCloud. Jake, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Doug. Happy to be here.
So, with our podcast series, what we're doing is we're first of all exploring the very, very critical issue of POTS replacement. And then at the end, we also are having a tour of the world's best tequilas. So stick around. That's the part that you won't want to miss. But there's also this opportunity with POTS replacement. Today we're going to be talking about the issue of POTS replacement beyond the sale and how basically this is really doing the right thing for your customer and for your own business in terms of becoming that trusted advisor that we're always talking about. So, Jake, tell me a little bit more about this idea.
Yeah, Doug. So, and we touched on this a little bit in the last couple episodes. Providing a service that is reliable, that's going to work. POTS replacement is not necessarily something that people have had to deal with for in 5 years ago, right? So POTS were very reliable. They've the nice thing about them is they were there forever, and they just relied on them. Right now that they are unreliable, they're shutting down, and the prices are going through the roof. It's something that customers have to deal with, right? So in an ideal world, they find a solution that they can implement, check that box, and not have to deal with them again for many years to come. So that's where these resellers and resellers of TelCloud, where we help educate them so that they can bring that information to their customers and show them the difference of these different solutions out there. What is happening in the marketplace, there are a few solutions out there which are all-in-one boxes, right? So it does the conversion. It's got a battery backup, a cellular router, and an analog to digital transformation. And so brings this complexity to something that the customer never really had to deal with. In the past, as a customer, I need a POTS line, I need a phone line, and I need it for my fire panel or my elevator, right? Now there's this complexity of, well, how do we do POTS line replacement? What's involved? What is the cost and things like that? And ultimately, if the resellers can bring to that customer the simplicity of, hey, we are able to bring a service to you that is going to be reliable, that is going to stay up, it's going to work, and it's going to be future proof for you. That's ultimately what you need, they need to do. And your customers are looking at you as that trusted provider. They're asking you for telecom, needs. They're asking you networking needs, cellular connectivity, phone connectivity. And so by bringing this education to them, TelCloud can help you and help you be that back end to educate them about that.
I think it's easy for a lot of us to forget because we're in this industry every day and we're aware of this, just how many companies out there, how many organizations, how many 501c3s, governments, you name it, that are just not going to be hyper aware that POTS is even going away. It's not on the radar. They don't use the phone that much anyway. So what's this all about?
It is very interesting. That's a fantastic point. It's top of mind for us because we
Right.
talk about it every day. We go to conventions, we go to networking meetings, we go, to events, and we're all talking about it. But most business owners or property or facilities management people, it's not what they're talking about. They're talking about their business. They're running their business. And this comes up because, oh, my phone line stopped working, or the CFO came to us and we
Yeah.
have a massive bill, something changed, and now it's my problem and I've got to fix it. And so they go to their technology advisor and say, help me fix this, right? And so, part of what we do at TelCloud is educate our resellers and help and back up our resellers so that they can make and communicate that information to the customer. But ultimately the customer wants something that's going to work, affordable, and is going to be future proof. Like I want to be able to check that box and not think about this for the next 20 years, right? And go on and work on my business, as opposed to this back end thing that is mission critical actually to being in business. So that's part of, that's a big part of what we do at TelCloud. And by choosing a partner like TelCloud, we're the ones that are investing in making sure that that is a sustainable long-term business for them and long-term, survivability of these lines, right? We want to make sure
Right.
those lines, like we talked about last time, you don't have to touch them again, and we're going to be able to maintain them for the next 20 years, right? And so that's one of the things that you're looking at, and you want to make that the right choice when you're looking at this technology. Not to go into too much, and we can go into, another time. We've talked about this on the fire side, but decisions that TelCloud makes in order to look at this long-term viability of these lines. I'll give you one example. One example is a lot of our competitors are using voice over IP to make phone calls for life safety, like alarm lines, right? Well, the problem with that is that it's really very nearsighted and it's not a long-term solution, because aren't phone calls for life safety for these alarm signals are going to go away in 5 to 6 years, which means that the technology that some of these vendors are proposing, you're going to have to fix it again in 5 to 6 years. Whereas TelCloud has taken the longer term approach, working. We are an alarm company. We do have UL listed data centers. We are looking at the future, and we're building IP connections directly to these central stations. So does that cost more money? Absolutely. Is it harder to do? 100%. But if you look at it, it's the right decision to make, because we don't want to go out and change this technology again. This isn't an industry like a cell phone where you want to swap it every 2 years. This is an industry where you want a life safety line that's going to be put in place and it's going to work for the next 20 years. And that's what TelCloud brings to the table. So that's just one example, but having that type of knowledge and then going back as a reseller and being confident to bring that to your customer and knowing that you're doing the right thing for that customer long term, one is going to provide the value to that customer, and two, it's going to make sure that you have a very solid recurring revenue business, and that's why you got in business for the first place. So I hope that was a little long-winded, but I
No,
hope that
no.
it helps understand what the core of what TelCloud brings to the table.
So you guys are not only providing the equipment and the remote redundancy and the other things that we've discussed in previous podcasts, but you're also providing some advice and help to sometimes the somewhat tongue-tied partners out there on how to approach customers, how to approach non-technical customers about this issue, how, and so on and so forth. Now, the other thing that we should talk about is you guys offer actually a white label model.
That's right. Yeah. So, our technology is, we want to be that back end engine, right? We want to make sure that we set up relationships with resellers or affiliates that bring our solution to market for their customers, right? That is a very, in the channel, that is a model that works really well, right? Like we talked about in other episodes, that there's not enough time for one company to go serve all of these end user customers. Like in the United States, there's 20-30 million lines in the business side left. Globally, there's a billion lines that need to be, converted. And so we're talking about, in different countries, different languages, like you need an army of educated partners that can bring this solution to their customers. And so, but what you want as a partner, you want to know that you chose the right back-end provider that is going to be able to give you that technology, build that technology for you, have it reliable so that you can go out with confidence and to talk to your customer that you are recommending that best technology. The last thing you want to do as a trusted partner is go out and recommend the wrong technology, right? Then you lose face with your customer in that relation that you've worked so hard to build. You want to give them the best advice because they keep coming back to you for that advice, and then you can advise them on other things, technology wise. So yeah, it's 100% white labeled. Put your brand on it, go to market, and bring that solution, but still have that back end knowledge that, hey, we have the expertise, the deep bench of the network and the expertise to help me back this up, so that you have to know this much about it, but you know that TelCloud knows the rest and can back you up and make sure that you're communicating effectively to your customers.
And we learned in previous podcasts in this series is your approach includes no truck rolls. It includes continuous monitoring of all the sites, remote reboots, and so on that are happening all the time. So no one
Sure.
ever wakes up to a deadline or a dead service, basically.
Right. Somebody's monitoring, and just a one truck roll, right? The first one. Other than
Right.
that, right? So
Yeah, right. You're doing the one install and that's it.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
One and done, right? So
one and
ideally,
done.
so we go out, we install, and again, like we talked about in previous episodes, is that becomes part of our network, and that becomes our responsibility to manage and to maintain and to make sure that it is healthy, right? And so we build this global healthy network that provides service that's reliable. And so our partners can count on that. They can charge top dollar for that. And even if that top dollar is still affordable and competitive, right? That's the key, right? We're not looking to build the cheapest service out there or just sell something to somebody, just to make a quick buck. That's not what this business is about. This is life safety. We take it very, very seriously. These are life safety lines that are required by law, that are needed, that the customer needs, right? And so everybody has to count on this, and everybody has to do their part, including Telcon.
And it remains to be said as we finish off this part of our podcast. I just put this up here. There's a recurring income, but everyone needs to keep in mind the customer is currently paying monthly or in some cadence for the service and now those prices are going up. So you're actually going to save the money on costs that they already have.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah, these prices are going through the roof. I mean, California, we've seen,
Wow.
30 years ago, a POTS line was what, $15, something like that. It's hundreds or thousands of dollars per line now.
Crazy.
Just out of control, right? So, and the carriers want out of that business. They're not investing in copper. They're
No.
not investing in maintaining those, you know, and those central offices and those switches are going away. They that's very expensive real estate. They want to repurpose it. They want to they are investing in wireless technology, in fiber. And so that's where they're spending the money, and that's where the future is, and even satellite, right? So connectivity, wireless connectivity, is a huge part of the solution. So
Now, with that call to action, we get to the part of our podcast that's the pots, and then there's the shots. So, Jake, you've got another tequila lined up for us today.
I do. So this one is a brand that we have talked about in the past. So this one is called Codigo. Codigo. So this is actually again, remember we're talking about the aging. This is an extra añejo, meaning it's aged for a longer time. So this is a couple years. It's a special bottle. It has this little kind of fancy. It's a pretty bottle. Looks nice. And this is more of a dessert type of tequila. So it's aged. It's got a very caramel and flavor. It's a little bit sweeter. It's almost like it's a sweetness. So it's the same family as, I don't know if you remember, we had one of these podcasts with Jen Skinner from Verizon, and we talked about the Codigo Rosa. So that was the same brand, same tequila, aged differently, right? This Codigo Rosa was aged in a Cabernet wine barrel, and so we got that little pinkish flavor, whereas this one is an oak barrel aged for a lot longer. It's sweeter. It's more of a sipping after dinner type of sipping tequila. Again, Codigo, great brand, cool little bottle here, looks good on the shelf, and so definitely pick that up or try it if you see it out there.
So, Jake, I got two questions. There it may be a zoom effect, but I noticed, is there liquid at the top where the
There
little?
is, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is actually it's actually a shot. So you pour it in there, and then it
Ah,
gives you the full shot, and then you
you
pour
get
it
a
in
shot
there. So
glass.
yeah, you got a little shot glass with it. Yeah. just a
Okay,
little hack.
it's always like a work of art, all these bottles, right?
I know it's cool to see them, and so I like put them on the table. So
So I gotta put you on the
um,
spot. What does the 1316 mean? Is that actually a date or is that
that's a good question, and I probably should say um, I that is a good question. I know there's some significance to it. I don't know. I
okay.
should look it
All right.
up.
If that's when they got started, that's a long time.
Yeah,
That
13, 16. I maybe. I don't yeah. I'll have to I could chat GPT it real quick.
all right.
That's
Well, good things last a long time. And once again, for the folks that haven't been following this, means that it's been aged a little longer, right? It's been in that barrel a little longer, so it's picked up that color.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gradually
Yeah.
learning my stuff here. So all right. So, Jake, thank you again for joining us today for this episode. Next time, we're going to be talking about Tales from the Road, global momentum for POTS replacement. That's going to be really cool. For folks that are seeing this for the first time, this is part of an ongoing podcast series. We've got a whole bunch of them up online at telecomreseller.com and also at telecloud. So go watch them. Each one gives you a little bit of insight about this really amazing opportunity. I just learned something. I didn't know that there was like 1 billion line replacements possibly out there. So that's
Yes.
an almost unlimited opportunity, and it's all happening now.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for having us here or having me here. I appreciate it. And so ChatGPT just told me that 1530, I guess that's a different code. It stands for Spanish royalty code for purity law. So all of these numbers have
Oh,
different meanings. But
it
anyways,
passed the test a long
not,
time ago.
nothing ChatGPT doesn't know. So
Yeah, right.
when in
Exactly.
doubt, ask AI.
So
Absolutely.
so someone's been watching this for like 400 or 500 years, right? For
That's
purity.
right.
All right.
I
Well,
wish it
that's
was
good to know.
yeah. So, but thanks, Doug. We appreciate this conversation, and you can always find more information at telcloud.com or 844-900-2270. I appreciate this series. It's fun to talk about tequila, and fun to learn about educate this community about POTS line replacement and how we can there's a lot to do and we need to do it together, and Telcloud's here to help. So.